A lot of us really want to help our kids get more words out. We want to know the richness of our child's thoughts so that we can understand them better and know what's going on in their beautiful little selves. But for some kids, getting this out can be really hard. Some kids have pretty short sentences. Maybe they're still only using 3 or 4 words in their sentence. Maybe their sentences just seem a lot more basic than kids of the same age if they're an older child. And it can be hard as a parent to know what to do. The first thing I like to tell parents is make sure you figure out sort of where your child's at and then just go a little beyond it. Because what we don't want to do is add so much information when we're trying to facilitate language development that we overwhelm them. We don't want to do too much. We don't want to do too little. So we have to figure out the balance, right? And so what I like to do is actually kind of keep track. Do a little language sample. Write down some of the sentences that your child says and count how many words they have. So if your child, or maybe you already just know this intuitively, yeah, usually my child only says 3 or 4 words, or it's only about 5 or 6 words in a sentence. Get an idea of that if you don't have that already, and then consciously try to add just 1 to 3 more words in the sentence that you model back. So I've given you some different techniques that you can use, repeating a child's sentence back, for example, and adding a little bit more information. And so just making sure, okay, I'm going to add just a little more, not a ton more, not only one thing that's not really going to give them a lot of help, but just finding that balance. It takes practice, but I'm sure that you can figure that out so that it's kind of a manageable, helpful amount of information that you give. One thing that is really helpful is to focus on using describing words. So for some of our kids, that will be basic words like hot and cold, big and small, tall and short, some of those basic concepts. And for other kids, we might be able to use a lot more complex vocabulary like disgusting, which can always be fun. You can come up with some silly things to do with that word, or other more complex words that you can find on the descriptive word handout that we've attached to this email. So that can be one way to really help your child increase the richness of their language and help you understand a lot more of what's going on in their minds. Another thing that you can do is help them use more connecting words. So that's what the other handout is that we've attached to this email. And it just helps link ideas. It can help them seem more organized in their speech and help things to flow out in a smoother manner. This is also really helpful when your child is writing, and your child is going to encounter a lot of these kind of connecting words in reading as well. So if you are giving them models with these words, it's going to make it that much easier for them to understand what they read later because they're familiar with that type of wording. So I hope that these 2 handouts are really helpful for you and help your child start to express themselves with more richness and a greater depth.